Imagine waking before dawn in a plastic sheet tent with no water, no toilet, no rest. You tie 40-kilogram bundles of sugarcane, walk slippery fields for 12 to 15 hours, every single day for months. Your body screams in pain, but stopping means fines, lost wages, and deeper debt. Now imagine the solution offered: a surgery to remove your uterus, not for cancer, not for a life-threatening condition, but so menstruation never interrupts the harvest again. So you never miss a day carrying those bundles. In Maharashtra's bead district, thousands of women sugarcane cutters have made this choice, or had it forced upon them by poverty, contractors, and a system that treats their bodies as obstacles to profit. Over 13,000 women in bead alone, according to government probes around 2019, with rates dramatically higher than India's national average of around 3%. Some are as young as their 20s. This is not ancient history. This is the political economy of sugar, where global demand, state policy, corporate mills, drought, and debt converge on the bodies of the poorest women. Today, we expose how the sweet taste of India's sugar industry is built on the hidden, irreversible cost paid by its invisible female laborers. You'll see the historical roots of this exploitation, how the system is deliberately constructed to extract maximum labor with minimal rights, the raw lived experiences of these women, the structural tensions driving it, and the devastating, unresolved consequences. By the end, we'll draw 6 key lessons from this tragedy. Stick with us. This is a story of survival, systemic failure, and what it reveals about who really powers India's agricultural engine. Sugarcane has long been central to India's economy. The country is one of the world's largest producers, with Maharashtra a powerhouse thanks to its cooperative sugar mills and vast processing capacity. The industry supports millions through farming, harvesting, and milling, contributing to sugar, ethanol, and exports. But behind the statistics lies a labor model built on seasonal migration. Every harvest season, roughly October to March, hundreds of thousands of workers, nearly half of them women, migrate from drought-prone Marathwada regions like Beed, Jalna, and others to the western sugar belt. Drought, fragmented land, failing rain-fed agriculture, and lack of local jobs push entire families, often called jodis or couples, into this cycle. Climate change has worsened it, intensifying dry spells and making local farming untenable. Historically, women have always been the backbone of much agricultural labor in India. Yet they remain hidden farmers with little control over land, credit, or technology. In sugarcane, their roles are specific and grueling: cleaning stalks, bundling, loading heavy bundles onto trucks, tasks layered on top of domestic work and childcare. Official statistics often undercount their unpaid and invisible contributions. This migration isn't new, but liberalization, the push for ethanol blending, and corporate involvement in sugar have intensified the pressure for reliable, flexible, cheap labor. The political economy here is clear. Sugar mills and contractors need uninterrupted supply chains. Women's reproductive bodies become collateral damage in that demand. But how exactly does this system lock workers in? That's next. If you're finding this deep dive valuable, verify that the subscribe button is clicked. We're tracking the political economy of food and agriculture so you don't miss the next video. The sugarcane harvesting system is engineered for extraction. Contractors known as mukadams recruit family units with advance payments, essentially loans that bind workers to the job. Wages are piece rate, Paid by the ton, cut and loaded. No work, no pay. Miss a day for illness, menstruation, or pregnancy? Fines or deductions follow. There are no fixed hours, often 12 to 15 plus hours daily, starting before dawn with no weekly rest. Living conditions at the worksite are dire. Makeshift tents from plastic or cane trash, no proper housing, electricity, drinking water, or sanitation. Women manage menstruation with reused old cloths in open fields, leading to infections and wounds from friction while carrying loads. Private doctors and sometimes contractors facilitate hysterectomies, offering loans for the surgery that are deducted from future wages. The logic is brutally economic. A womb becomes a liability because periods or pregnancy disrupt the relentless pace required for profit. Sugar mills benefit from a steady supply. Contractors meet targets. Families repay debt. This isn't always overt force, but structural coercion, poverty, illiteracy, many women illiterate or minimally educated, early marriage, often before 18, and lack of alternatives make choice illusory. The system externalizes the costs of social reproduction onto women's bodies, while capital captures the value of their labor. Coming up, the human stories behind these numbers, the daily reality these women endure. Meet women like those interviewed in studies from Bede, Ganita, Vandabai, Nita. Names changed, but their pain is real. They describe sugarcane cutting as the work of the run, forgetting food, bath, rest. Women rise earliest for family food, then labor alongside men, then return to domestic duties. During menstruation, heavy bleeding, severe cramps, wounds from walking slippery fields with loads while using makeshift pads. No breaks, no access to health care due to time pressure and cost. Infections go untreated for the season. Many undergo hysterectomy after bearing children, often in their 20s to 30s, hoping to end the pain and interruptions. Some report initial relief but later face hormonal imbalance, chronic back/abdominal pain, weight changes, hot flashes, mental health strain, insomnia, anxiety, depression from the trauma and ongoing hardship. They carry the double burden: field work plus motherhood and household in impossible conditions. Children often miss school, join the labor, or face neglect. Sexual harassment risks at work sites add another layer of vulnerability. One woman shared the regret. "If there was another option, I wouldn't have done it. Now the pain continues, but I must work." These are not isolated cases. Surveys show high rates of general ailments, body aches, breathlessness, sunstroke, urinary infections, and reproductive issues like vaginal discharge, pelvic infections, fibroids, worsened by the work, poor nutrition, and hygiene. If you're finding this deep dive valuable, verify that the subscribe button is clicked. We're tracking the political economy of food and agriculture, so you don't miss the next video. The tensions are multiple. Patriarchal norms undervalue women's labor and treat reproductive functions as inconveniences. Class and caste realities trap lower caste, poor migrant families in debt bondage. Capital, sugar mills, agro-processors, even global buyers demands efficiency and volume, externalizing social costs. The state plays a contradictory role, promoting sugar for the economy and ethanol policy, while labor protections, healthcare access, and regulation of private hospitals lag. Government committees have investigated, for example, the 2019 probe revealed 13,000 plus cases in Bede, recommending awareness, health checkups, and reporting. but implementation remains weak. Private hospitals profit from unnecessary surgeries. Feminization of agriculture increases women's workload without empowering them with resources or rights. Globalization and trade liberalization add pressure for competitive production, often at the expense of informal workers. Climate change intensifies migration, creating more vulnerable bodies for the system to optimize. What happens when bodies break under this pressure? The consequences are profound and lasting. The disadvantages are severe and multi-generational. Physically, chronic pain, hormonal disruptions, increased risks of infections, potential long-term issues like osteoporosis or cardiovascular complications from early hysterectomy. Mentally, trauma, regret, anxiety, compromised well-being. Economically, debt from surgeries and advances traps families in the cycle. Lost future fertility affects family planning and social standing in some communities. Socially, stigma around menstruation persists, while women's health needs remain ignored. Children suffer disrupted education and exposure to harsh conditions. Broader costs, weakened rural communities, undercounted human toll in GDP calculations, and a sugar industry that appears efficient only by hiding these externalities. Despite inquiries and promises, the practice lingers because root causes, alternative livelihoods, enforceable labor rights, dignified worksite conditions, accessible non-surgical health care, go unaddressed. Women pay with their bodies so the supply chain flows. As we close this investigation, here are 6 critical lessons from the political economy of sugar in Maharashtra. 1. Labor is never abstract. Behind every ton of sugar are bodies disciplined by debt and desperation. Piece rate systems without protections turn human needs into liabilities. 2. Reproductive labor is productive labor. Capitalism profits by making women's bodies disposable when they interfere with accumulation. Recognizing this is essential for justice. 3. Invisible workers bear visible costs. Women's contributions to agriculture are systematically undervalued, leading to exploitation masked as choice. 4. Structural problems demand structural solutions. Awareness campaigns are insufficient without land rights, fair wages, sanitation, healthcare access, and regulation of contractors and hospitals. 5. Climate and capital intersect on vulnerable bodies. Drought-driven migration amplifies exploitation. Addressing agrarian distress is key to breaking the cycle. 6. Accountability matters across the chain. Mills, corporates, government, and consumers must trace the true human cost. Ethical sourcing and stronger labor laws are non-negotiable. This story reveals how power, profit, and policy shape even the most intimate aspects of life. True empowerment requires dismantling these systems, not patching them. Thank you for watching. Watch out for our next video on the broader political economy of food and agriculture. Check the channel for more investigative explainers on labor, environment, and inequality. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What struck you most? What solutions do you see? Like, share, and subscribe for more. Until next time, stay curious about the hidden costs behind what we consume.